I wanted to go back and talk about Pony a little bit. Um, I would say that Ponytail was one of the most well-known connects in all of San Francisco. Everyone in the world of 16th and Mission in the 90s, and then later on Tenderloin in the 2000s, everyone knew Ponytail. I mean, and I was lucky enough to get to know him real well. We were partners many times, and then we'd separate, then we'd come back. I lived with him a few times. I know that he comes from a large family, and he was in the Mexican military. Very smart. So I first met Pony on 16th and Mission in the early mid 90s. Basically, early 90s. Basically, one day there was a big commotion, and I didn't really see what happened, but what I had heard was, bruh, did you see what happened? The narcs ran up on Ponytail. He turned around, started swinging. He broke one of those cops' arms. Well, Pony got arrested that day, and we didn't see him for many years. And apparently breaking that cop's arm, blah, 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 even though they were in plain clothes, he ended up going to prison for a while. And he'd been through the whole system. I mean, he ended up at Pelican Bay at one time. And I get the years confused, either he was there or he was gone. When he was gone, he was in jail, and then he'd come back and everything would pick up right where he was. He was the most generous Paisa there was, period. Front, no problem. But I know that he had a lot of personal issues. Pony had a large family that basically was still stuck in Mexico. Pony was basically owned by the cartels, so they'd throw everything they could at him, and he couldn't say no. He had to produce money and get rid of that. And if he couldn't, maybe he could finagle, give it back, but generally, nah. Whatever he was given, he had to get rid of, even if it was bunk. And it was that shit's hella stressful. I spent many nights with him, not crying, but just really bummed out that he had no way to get out of that life. If he did, then he was putting his family at risk, and his own life, really. Imagine being stuck with like 7 keys of something, and you just don't have the customer base anymore to get rid of it. Yet people on the phone are like, where's our money? Where's our money? And literally like 2 weeks after giving it to you, you're just like, fuck, bro. So I knew, I saw the pressure he was under, towards the end, and he was just a real good person, I will say this, I don't know if everyone knows this, but I was with Ponytail at the end, maybe like 7 years ago. He met some white girl, went on a road trip down south, with something in his trunk, and turns out this white woman was a narc, and that was a wrap. He's still in the feds right now. I've got a few letters to him because I know his government name, but I know his name, and but didn't get no responses from him, so I don't know if my letters got through, and I know he'll come back. I know I'll see him again, and I'm looking forward to that. What else do I have to say? So Ponytail's a straight up legend in San Francisco. Period. Point blank. If he was fucking around on 16th and Mission or downtown, you know that name. I went on a couple cool ass missions with him. Crazy but cool. One time Pony called me up, said, "Hey, I need a car, and we need to take a trip." And I got a car. It wasn't mine, of course. I wasn't gonna put my car on the line. And man, we drove for hours. Ended up on some ranch in the Central Valley. And now we're driving down this dirt road. It's me, Pony, in the driver's side. We got no weapons. We're just there to grab something, meet people he knew or people he knew of. And it's this long trail. I think we're in the outskirts of Modesto. I'm not sure. And then there's this big gate. Armed guards. I mean, not armed with pistols. I mean, armed guards with submachine guns. And we're let in, and it's this huge ranch with cows and all this, and then we went inside, and it was cool. I got to see this very interesting negotiation process at like a top level deal. We're talking. I'm just not trying to say too much. And it was just very interesting. They fed us, man. They took care of us, man. We spent the night there, and then then the next day, getting back to the bay safely, and we did. And that was just one of the many adventures. I know you guys probably want more details, but I'm going to keep shit kind of vague because you know why. And I'm just going to go back to how when I was almost killed on 16th and basically on Valencia Street across from the police station. Pony was like, "Hey, I'm going to need you to go into that building across from that station." And everyone knows what those apartments are, who lived in them. It was Sereno owned and operated, basically. They had their families in there. And it had been like that since the late 80s. And so, before cons. And so, I didn't want, he's like, "Yeah, go in there and see these people, bring them this." And I was nervous. On my way over to those apartments, I ran into one of the homies that is involved with that clique, and he was an old friend of mine. And I'm like, "Hey, bro, Pony's telling me to bring this into them apartments." I'm like, "What do you think?" He's like, "Oh, it should be okay." I'm like, "Man, honestly, bruh." He's like, "I think you'll be all right. Everyone knows you from the old days." And I was like, "All right." But my gut feeling said, don't even go up in there. But anyway, took the bus there. I went in through the front door, and it's a 3-story apartment. And they're like, "What's up? We up here." And I looked up, and it's 2 dudes on the 3rd floor. I'm like, "Oh, no, it's good. If y'all could come just down here on the 1st floor, we could just handle this real quick." They're like, "Nah, homie, come up, bruh. It's all good. We can smoke weed, whatever." Man, and I went against everything I felt, and I walked up them 3 stairs, them 3 flights. And it's me and two sirs, and big boys, and guys that didn't know me from the streets in the 90s. This is the 2000s now. And basically, they're like, "Well, let's see it." So I pull it out, they yank it out. One of them yanks it out my hand, and I knew right then and there they was gonna take it, and try to take me everything for everything. And right when he put it in his hand, he looked up at me and he goes, I seen him look at his homie and like blink at him, and right then and there, bruh, I just started making my way towards them stairs. And of course, dude was standing in front of the stairs. So now a struggle ensues, and I'm fighting for my life. I got two dudes just stole my shit and my package, and I didn't give a fuck about that. Now, what's crazy is they weren't punching me. They were trying to cover my mouth, subdue me, and drag me into one of the apartment rooms way in the back of this spot. And man, I did not want to end up in one of them rooms, bruh. One of them empty ass rooms. You know, they probably would have stripped me naked. Maybe a little torture. Maybe a little pistol whipping. But definitely would have taken everything off me. So I fought for my life. I'm pretty wily and wiggly, and I basically dived over dude blocking the stairs and went headfirst down the middle of a spiral staircase. Pretty much landed on my knees. And I look up, and these dudes are running down the stairs towards me. And and that's what I'm like. And then so now we're yelling at each other. They're on the second flight. I'm ready to go out the front door, and they know the pig station's across the street, so they can't really run out at me, you know. So I'm arguing with them inside this building. Hey man, you got the shit. Let me get my shoe back and my glasses, motherfuckers. Because I lost a shoe, I realized. Knees all fucked up. My glasses was gone. But luckily they couldn't get that backpack off me, man. I had a bike. I had like a sling pack. And no matter what, that shit, they couldn't get it off me. And that's where my money, phone, everything was. And they threw the shoe at me, right? It damn near almost hit me in the head, but I'm like, thank you. And I'm like, what about my glasses? They're like, bruh, get the fuck out of here. And they start coming down now with knives. And I'm like, bruh, just give me my glasses, bruh. Call it even. And then they threw the glasses at me, but they broke when they hit the wall. And that was my cue. I straight left the building. And that was a dangerous situation I felt. And there was more involving Pony. But I just wanted to say that Pony is a legend. A lot of people know him. I got a lot of love for him. And this is the story of Ponytail. And probably the last time I'll talk about him. And I'll move on with my stories. Thank you.